Black cats have a reputation. Across many cultures, they've been seen as symbols of bad luck, misfortune, or even evil. Some people still hesitate when a black cat crosses their path. Others avoid adopting them entirely. But this belief didn't come from the cats themselves. So where did it come from? Why did black cats, specifically, become wrapped up in superstition? To understand that, we need to go back thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, black cats were not feared. They were revered. Cats were associated with the goddess Bastet, who represented protection, fertility, and the home. Killing a cat, even accidentally, was a serious crime. And black cats, in particular, were often seen as symbols of good fortune. Their dark color was associated with fertile soil and rebirth, not danger. So at one point in history, black cats were lucky. That perception didn't last. As culture shifted, so did symbolism. In medieval Europe, attitudes toward cats began to change. Cats were independent. They were active at night. They moved silently. All of that made them suspicious, and black cats stood out the most. Darkness was already associated with the unknown, with fear, with danger. Black animals became easy targets for superstition. At the same time, Europe was becoming deeply influenced by religious fear. Anything that didn't fit neatly into accepted beliefs was treated with suspicion. That included animals. Black cats became linked to witchcraft. People believed witches could transform into black cats, or that black cats acted as witches' companions. In some stories, black cats were thought to be demons in disguise. These ideas weren't based on evidence. They were based on fear and imagination. During periods of mass hysteria, like the witch trials, that fear turned violent. Cats, especially black ones, were killed in large numbers, and the superstition fed itself. Here's where things get tragically ironic. By killing cats, people removed a natural control on rats. Rats carried fleas. Fleas carried disease, including the Black Death. Some historians believe that the destruction of cat populations actually worsened outbreaks of plague. But instead of correcting the superstition, fear intensified it. Black cats became symbols of death, not because they caused it, but because they were present when fear was already high. Over time, the belief spread. Black cats were unlucky. Seeing one was a bad omen. Crossing paths with one meant misfortune. But superstition doesn't need logic to survive. It needs repetition. As European culture spread through colonization, these beliefs traveled with it. They became embedded in folklore, stories, and later popular culture. Books, plays, films. Black cats were repeatedly portrayed as eerie or sinister. By the time modern society emerged, the association was already deeply ingrained. Even people who don't believe in superstition recognize the image. Black cat, Halloween, bad luck, it's cultural memory. There's also a psychological reason these beliefs stick. Humans are pattern-seeking. If something bad happens after seeing a black cat, the brain connects the two. If nothing happens, the moment is forgotten. This creates confirmation bias. The superstition feels proven even when it isn't. Color plays a role too. Black absorbs light. It hides detail. That makes it harder to read expressions and movement. For humans, that uncertainty can trigger unease. Not fear of the animal, but fear of what we can't see clearly. Despite all of this, black cats are no different from any other cat. Their behavior isn't unique. Their personalities vary like any other animals. The superstition never reflected reality, but the consequences are real. Even today, black cats are adopted less often than lighter-colored cats. They spend more time in shelters. Some shelters report adoption rates noticeably lower for black cats, especially around Halloween. The lore still has an impact. What makes this story so revealing isn't what it says about cats. It's what it says about us. Black cats didn't earn their reputation. They inherited it from fear, from misunderstanding, from stories passed down without question. Once a symbol becomes established, it's hard to erase, even when we know better. even when the original reasons no longer apply. In the end, the lore of black cats isn't about bad luck. It's about how humans explain the unknown, how fear attaches itself to symbols, and how stories can outlive the conditions that created them. Once you understand that, the superstition loses its power, the black cat stops being an omen and becomes what it always was, just a cat. This has been Questions Answered. Have you ever heard a superstition about black cats growing up? Let me know in the comments. And if there's an everyday question you've always wondered about, suggest it below. It might become a future video. If you enjoy learning how everyday things work, consider subscribing to Questions Answered. Thanks for watching.